could you? How could you, Jack?
I'm sorry, I couldn't help it.
Cut! That was horrible! Who wrote the script? Welcome to the movie show!
Active FM.
What's up?
And another friendly show for you. Welcome, our listener.
Yes, I'm Sash.
And myself, you know me, on the
This
movie
is me.
show.
So it's Sash and me.
Yes, Sash and me. If you stay tuned to you listen to a whole show, I will tell you my name at the end.
Well, Ron.
All right.
I didn't mean to do that. Sorry. I promise that actually wasn't intentional.
Wow, that
I was
was
about
so
to say,
good.
wow, right, that's like such a
was so
cliffhanger.
good. That was so good. All right. Well, there you go. Thank you, Sashi. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. But if you still stay tuned, Ryan, the person over there, will tell you his name. He'll tell you his name.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And today you are listening to the movie show, and we have got another movie review for you.
For
A
you?
movie review for you.
For you? For you.
And today we are going to be reviewing Sonic the Hedgehog. No, not the video game.
Yes.
There's a movie. If you didn't know, yes, it's a 2020 movie.
And if you've played the game, then you would have been excited for the show, for the movie. Yes.
Yes.
And if you haven't watched the movie, well, listen to our show. But can I just encourage you to go watch it anyway, because it's good for you. But if you're looking for something amazing, well, listen to the show and you'll find out.
So to kick it right off, the budget for this film was 81. Well, but here they've said 81 to 95 million US dollars. This always confuses me. I'm like, is their accountant not good that they didn't figure out the final figure? What did it cost us? Oh yeah, it was somewhere between 81 and 95 million. Hello, that is a very big gap. That is do you understand what I'm saying? 81 to 95 million. Do you understand? If it was 81 or 82 million, it's okay, fine,
If you look at it at the perspective of 81, 95 million, if you have access to that amount of cash, what's the difference?
So you did.
But think about what you could do with it, though.
Exactly.
That's you could have spent a bit more time on production. You could have hired the studio for another day or two. You could have added more CG in. You could have improved the CG. You could have...
I feel like everyone now is
put
going,
up more studios.
oh, so Ryan didn't enjoy the CG.
No, well...
We'll get to it.
Nah, I wouldn't say I didn't enjoy the CG, It was good.
And then the box office for the film is 306.8 million US dollars.
Wow.
So it did actually do pretty good.
They did well.
Yeah.
They did really, really well.
It did, yes. So for me personally, this film actually has been coming out for a while. If you listen to the movie show, I'm pretty sure for the last 2 years we've now what's the word? Because we always do a show at the beginning of the year, movies coming up in, and then whatever the year is. So for 2019 we did it, and for 2018 we did it. And I'm pretty sure, I think it was this year and last year, both shows we mentioned that Sonic the Hedgehog was coming out that year. So this film was actually pushed back quite a bit. There was a lot of production delays. And we're just going to look into why. But I must be honest, when films have production delays, you generally find they don't do well. Just because, I don't know if Ryan, if you found the same, whenever we've done a film that does have a production delay, it's normally either critics are very critical, the critics are very critical, or, it just doesn't do that well at box office or anything like that. So...
sometimes it's just improvements that have to be made.
Right. Yeah. So, this film actually has quite a few... Well, this film is a comedy. That's the best way to actually describe this film.
I believe another word you have for that is maybe a kids movie.
Or a kids movie is. That's what it felt like, personally. And we've seen a couple of movies like this actually come out. One of them was Detective Pikachu, which came out last year. And... at first, I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be like Detective Pikachu, but it wasn't. For me, Detective Pikachu was an adult's movie still. It wasn't, as in not it didn't have bad, things kids couldn't watch.
In other words, someone over the age of 21.
Yeah, would watch it and not think this is made for kids.
Yes.
Yeah, because it actually did feel like it was made for kids.
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, I suppose, I don't know. I think it's the style that they chose to go in.
You know what? I like. I'll be honest, right? I was expecting more out of this movie,
Right.
just because I expect, and I think Sashi agrees with me. In fact, she also said it, that we just expected Sonic to be a bit more different,
Yeah.
type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, it was a movie that was fun to watch. It bypassed my time.
Wow.
Right?
Can I be honest? So when I looked at Sonic the Hedgehog as in from the video games, immediately I'd always think this hedgehog is cool. Like John Travolta in
80s.
Grease. Yes, like that type character.
80s kid, right?
Yeah, like
Hair
too cool
Yeah.
for school. That type, like.
Yes.
And he was not at all like that. He felt like a nervous, nervous. He was anxious. He spoke too much. He was like he. What irritated me sometimes was the fact that he would say out loud what he was thinking. And like he'd literally, and it wasn't narration. It was as in the character literally said what he was thinking, which for me was like, I feel like you're just pushing the story down my throat. Like there's no better way you could let us know that information.
All right, like in
Other
the
than
beginning.
that.
In the beginning, when he narrated, he said, "This is me," and
No, the narration wasn't bad.
are we moving too fast?
The narration I didn't mind. It
Yeah.
was when the character
saying
is
what he was saying. Yeah.
not even that. It's that he was he'd been in a scene, so now he's not narrating. He's in the scene. There's no narration, and next minute I can't remember the exact lines, but he said something that basically gave the audience, okay, this is what he's thinking, or this is what's going on, and then you were just like,
Thanks. I was gonna figure that out. Yeah.
yeah, like okay,
You know what? But doesn't that tell you then that this is like a kids
movie, yeah.
Yeah. They had to sort of spell things out.
Although, do you know that I think it was the producer, when obviously they rate every film to figure out, is it PG-13, what is the age restriction? He wanted this film to be PG-13, but it's just PG. So in other words, the critic said, no, your film is child friendly. It's very child friendly. We're making it a child's movie. Yeah. And he's like,
Yeah.
no, it's not. It's only for over 13s.
I suppose if you had a bit more things blowing up, maybe. I think what would have maybe put... So here's an idea that just popped in my head. The thing that was a bit soft for me in this movie was that if you look at Dr. Robotic, right, / AKA Egghead, Eggman, yes, Eggman, is that he didn't really have a plan. There wasn't some big master plan and everyone was in danger. He was just chasing Sonic around and he just wanted to blow him up with all his cool gadgets. But there was not like, okay, everyone's in danger now. Sonic and his guy and his friends have to try and figure out, this big plan on how we, you distract him, then we'll get this. And then, Sonic, have you got the thing? And then he's like, figured out, oh, so that's your best plan. Oh, you got it. It was nothing like that. It was just, and the first time he rocked up in his like flying vehicle thing, it was like, there he is. And then the vehicle thing was cool for like 2 seconds. And then after that, like, Sonic, like, dismantled him, and it was just so fast and just so yeah. I think if they went with my plan, then I think it would have been PG-13 and all.
Yeah. So yeah, there's as we said, Jim Carrey's in the movie. Personally, I am not a big fan of Jim Carrey. For me, his comedic style comes across stupid, and I say that respect. I really do. But there's almost like there's comedy, which is funny, like good humor, and then there's just someone acting silly to try and make people laugh. And I feel, then you get Mr. Bean, which is good humor. Do you understand? And I mean, he does act funny. But then you get Jim Carrey, who you just feel like is almost strangling you to laugh. Like, you feel like you're just like, I don't want to laugh.
Wait,
Stop trying to make me laugh.
This is the second time I've heard you say something in the show. The first time was trying to force it down my throat, and now they're strangling you to laugh.
I feel like...
Laugh, damn it, you better laugh, do you hear
And
me?
you're just like, that's not funny. Yeah.
Like, that is
the
just
point.
so weird.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
And I also think the fact that they chose Jim Carrey for this movie...
It's a bit weird, don't you
but
think?
it sets the movie in a direction.
Do you think they got him just to get the movie? No, but everybody knows Sonic. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand
not
either.
to say that he didn't do... But even with him, don't you feel like I would have expected something someone different out of.
No,
Dr.
Jim Carrey's
Robotic.
Jim Carrey. If you're going to put Jim Carrey in a movie, it's like,
Yeah.
remember when we were talking about Bloodshot with Vin Diesel and like The Rock and that? Those type of actors, you're not going to get anything different. Like
Yeah.
you're getting the actor in because you know what they're going to do, and you know it's not, you're not getting them in to do anything new or special. Like no one's going to go, oh my word, their performance, I never saw that before. No one's going to do that.
Who's the? Please, excuse me, I forgot the guy's name. Who is the guy? Our favorite guy that does Schmiegel. That also
Andy
did.
Serkis.
Imagine Andy Serkis did Dr. Robotic.
Yes, now he would have been scary.
I think he would have overshadowed Sonic. That's what they didn't
he would
choose
have.
him.
He would
He would
have.
have just outdone everybody.
Remember?
We changed the movie's title to Dr. Robotic.
Right? That's a good
Eggman.
idea.
Eggman on the rise.
Eggman on the rise.
Yeah. Eggman is coming for you.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
slightly scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they could have. You know what? I feel like with this movie, they could have done so much. Like they could have made it so cool. There was
They
so
could have
much
killed it.
potential. Yes, it could have been one of the best movies we've watched. Like it really could have just outshone everything, something we've never seen before. Because like you don't see a lot of these movies where they're bringing video game characters to life. Like you've got like Pac-Man, not Pac-Man. What was that movie called? Where all the video games came to life.
The emoji, not the emoji movie.
It was
yeah.
a comedy. Was it called Pac-Man? I don't think it was with Adam Sandler. That was a good one. That movie was also good. Do you remember which movie I'm talking about?
Oh, yes.
And then the
yes.
creator of Pac-Man still gets bitten by Pac-Man.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you remember that?
In fact, wasn't it called Pac-Man?
I don't think it was
It
called
was
Pac-Man.
called Pac-Man.
Let me search
There was
while we are
Pac-Man
talking.
1 and Pac-Man 2 with the minis in it, right?
With the what?
The minis, the cars, the car minis.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. Okay, I'm
And
going to
that
search.
guy with his cheats.
Yes, remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a cool movie. Like that was
You see,
something we hadn't
and that was
seen
big.
before.
They made a second one out of it.
Did they make a second one?
They did make a second one, right?
I haven't seen the second one. I
sure
want to
they
go
did.
watch the second one.
my goodness.
Pixels, it was called
Oh,
Pixels.
it's called Pixel. Yeah, well, Pac-Man,
Yes.
Pixel, same thing.
But that movie was very cool. I enjoyed that movie.
You see?
And like it was something different. It was like
Yeah.
a breath of fresh air. Like you don't get any movie like that.
Yeah.
And with this movie, they could have done the same. In fact, they could have started a whole, like the whole comic cinematic universe thing
Yeah.
started with Marvel and DC, and then now it's like
Exactly.
the biggest thing ever. They could have done that.
Ah,
But they
come
didn't.
on. You know what, Sashi? You know what? These people seriously need to phone us up and have a discussion. Like,
Right.
have a creative session with us, man. Ask us, what do we think? We're about to release Sonic the Hedgehog. Here's the script. It's been in development since 1990.
That's
Do
crazy.
you think it needs to be improved? Then we'll read it, right? We'll read it. And then we'll come up with like stupid suggestions,
Yeah.
like hey, why don't you
Yes.
have Andy Serkis as Dr. Robotic?
Mm-hmm.
And didn't you know what? I at first thought that Sonic the Hedgehog was, what is his name? Ryan
Reynolds.
Yeah. It was
Probably would have worked
it
better.
was so light, but you know what? You see, I would have suggested him as Sonic the Hedgehog.
But maybe they didn't want to because of Detective Pikachu.
Look, he was probably busy filming Dead. What?
Free Guy. There's a movie.
Something
The
else,
latest
yeah.
movie is called Free Guy. But it's that where they live in like video games sort of thing.
Yeah.
Remember I told you about it? It's coming out in 2020.
Yes.
Yeah. But get this. So talking about actors that they could have done differently. Tom Holland, right? Chris Pratt and Paul Rudd were all considered for the voice of Sonic. Now, Tom Holland is Spider-Man. Chris Pratt is Guardians of the Galaxy. What's his name again? He was with Gamora. Star-Lord. You know Star-Lord?
Yes.
Yes. And then Paul Rudd is Ant-Man. Were all considered for the voice of Sonic. And I just feel like they should have gone with one of those three actors.
Yeah.
Like, it probably would have worked
But do you
out
think-
a whole lot better.
Do you think it was actor or do you think it was script?
I think it was choice of actors and script. I actually think it was a mix for this. The actors that they got
But
was...
do you think with any I'm not saying any actor. I'm saying let me say most actors with the right directive, there would have been an improvement. Like some really strict director that have been like, you're not doing what I'm paying you to. No, I'm not saying like that. I'm just saying with the right directive, perhaps, because
You know what I think the problem for the film was? The whole vision of what it was going to be. Because the filmmakers, everyone, the director, the producer, the scriptwriter, and the actors all had a vision in their head. and The Vision was what came out, which was more of like a comedic, funny, family-friendly movie that's, you
Something
know,
we
just,
watch
yeah,
because
like,
we're bored.
and not everyone's going to watch it, and...
But it did really well at the box office.
It did do very well, yes,
and
at the
that's
box
probably
office.
because of the name, the weight that Sonic carries.
But now this is the thing. So at the end of the movie, by the way, there's post-credit scenes. So watch the post-credit
missed the
scenes.
second one.
Right? There's 2. So just watch the credits. They're cool anyway. So, well, the not the rolling credits. After the rolling credits, I look. There's nothing. It's after
what? The second, the one that you showed me now, was better than the whole movie.
Are you serious?
Totally. I'll watch the second one just because of that. Because that was cool.
Now you see, so based on that post-credit scene, it looks like they want to now start up this whole, like movie cinematic universe, if you could put it like that. But now, I don't know if I want to watch the second one, because I'm like...
When the second one comes out, Sashi, we're going to name it Is or Is Not.
Okay, let's do that.
This
We'll try it
podcast
out.
is the answer.
But can I be honest? I didn't really have a big desire in me to finish watching it because I watched this movie in 2 sittings. And like honestly, the only reason I finished it was because I knew we were recording the movie show and I kind of need to watch the movie in order to review it.
You know that I forgot about the movie. I watched the first half and then I think, when did I tell you about it? Like 2 or 3 days ago.
Yeah.
When I was like, oh yeah, shucks, I have to finish watching the movie.
You see,
and I had
that's
to
the
finish
problem.
watching the movie.
There was no hook. Like the script wasn't that good. The story wasn't much of a story. The acting for me, like at some points, Jim Carrey. At some points, I was just like, okay, this is weird. Like
I enjoyed Jim Carrey.
Did you enjoy it?
Like I said, because...
Can I be honest? There was one part. So there's a dancing scene in the film. And apparently this dancing scene was actually completely improvised by him. So there wasn't any like...
I could tell that was his stuff, yeah.
And also he actually chose the song for the scene. I think the song's called When Evil Grew Up or something like that. But yes, When Evil Grows. And he'd heard it when he was a child and he actually requested that song. For me, what was funny, I was like, okay. The whole time he's doing it, I'm just like, this guy's a really weird dude. The part that made me laugh was he has this like personal assistant guy. And next minute, he's dancing and then the camera turns and the dude's standing behind him with a big smile on his face and he's also dancing. I actually laughed out loud there. And at that point, I was watching it by myself because I started with my family, but then I had to finish it. So I quickly finished it for the show. There I laughed. So, but I feel like it wasn't Jim Carrey that made me laugh. It was actually, I don't know that actor's name.
Just that guy. Yes. He's like very formal.
I think it's that, like, I didn't expect it from him. Because he was almost like cool, you know, like he's working for this, for Jim Carrey. But
and the way he just gets bullied around, I'm like, this guy's got to snap at some point.
No, that was, that part, I laughed there.
You see, what I enjoyed about Jim Carrey this time is because there were certain things that he did that he usually does. But he usually overdoes it.
But he still overdid it sometimes.
I felt like he would start, I'd be like, no, Jim Carrey, please don't. And then full stop. And then he would carry, and I'd be like, okay. That's how I was saying. For me, it felt like Jim Carrey, but he kept this very like strict. Yeah. But he still did like the usual, that Jim Carrey thing.
But he's not normally that
everyone's
strict.
Like, really, Jim Carrey. But then, like, it was like he would start it, and then you'd be like, don't overstay. And then he wouldn't. He would stop. And then he'd carry on being evil, Knievel, Dr. Robotic.
Do you know that he actually remarked that very little dialogue from the pages of the script ended up in the movie? And also, he was given a lot of creative freedom for his non-verbal scenes, receiving basic instructions like, here's the room, and this is the music, so just do something with it. Literally, that was the direction.
That explains.
And I almost feel like, from the director's point of view, you know, he is a good actor and, you know, he did improvise, but I feel like that's why the film went in I feel like this film is a Jim Carrey incarnation, if I can put it like that. Like, that's what do you understand?
In fact, $50 says that everybody will watch the movie because, Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Which do you think, in fact, if you even look at, I'm sure if you look at the poster, if my memory serves me well, Jim Carrey is bigger than Sonic. Yes.
Yeah. But I don't know, for me, I'm not a huge fan of Jim Carrey's films. Like I said, it's just not my type of humor. Like for me, it irritates me more than makes me laugh, personally. So I'm not a huge fan of his. So I'm not going to go and watch a film just because he's in it. Like, honestly.
Yeah, same.
But I think, like, I just feel like they could have done more with Sonic. And I mean, the whole movie is called Sonic. Do you understand what I'm saying? He's your main character and I just felt like I was watching a child, like I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, but Jim Carrey was actually attracted to this project more than anything else. Because more than anything else, his daughter was a big fan of Sonic the Hedgehog games growing up. So the main reason that he actually took the role was that his daughter was a fan. So it was almost like, oh, my dad's in the new Sonic the Hedgehog movie, yay! And then, yeah.
So he probably did it for his kid.
He probably did it for his kid, yeah. Now, talking about the production delay, because as I said in the beginning, this film, so Ryan said production started in 1990, which is crazy, and then it was supposed to be released, but it kept getting pushed back. So when the first teaser poster was released, the basically what happened was everyone disliked Sonic's appearance. And then when the first trailer was released, there was massive fan backlash. And so on May 2nd, 2019, director Jeff Fowler announced on Twitter that Sonic's design was going to be altered to make the character the best he can be. The movie's scheduled release moved from Thanksgiving weekend 2019 to Valentine's Day 2020, with a new trailer when a new trailer and poster were released on November 12th, 2019, fans and viewers alike praised Sonic's new look. Now, so there was a huge issue with the design of the character. If you go onto YouTube, me and Ryan were actually checking it out. You can search Sonic design differences, and you can actually see they actually, the one we specifically watched showed a comparison of from the trailer, the original trailer, how he looked, and then how they changed him. Ryan, what did you think of the change?
The first one I can understand where they were going with it. It was more a sort of rough animal looking guy.
Blue hedgehog.
And then the second one, it was a bit more smoothed out, more character liking. But if I have to compare that to the original Sonic the Hedgehog,
it didn't. They should have made him cool. But anyway, on top of that, so the film got delayed because of the backlash of Sonic's initial design. However, this makes it the third time Paramount Pictures, because they were involved in creating the film, it's the third time now that they've had to completely redesign a character in the middle of movie production due to negative reception. The third time. That's crazy. So the first time was Megatron from Transformers 2007. Fans complained he looked nothing like the original design. So then halfway through the production, they had to change. About a decade later, the movie Monster Trucks had to be postponed for a year due to the main monster's original design being so visually frightening that it terrified children in the test audience. So, and now the third is Sonic, that they had to...
Google pictures of original Sonic design 1991. And you can see how over from 91 to 94 to 2005 until today, how different Sonic actually looks. And you actually see how he's changed. Now, apparently Sonic was basically, he first was designed by Sega. Obviously, everyone knows Sega games. If you haven't played a Sega game, all right, as obviously Sonic the Hedgehog, which was basically a hedgehog that could move at supersonic speeds, right, and curl up into a ball to primarily attack his enemies. That was basically his design in that. And later on, by 1998, he was redesigned, and you'll see his legs get longer. He becomes a lot more of a mature-looking, sort of more cooler type of character, and that was basically redesigned with a more that mature look to appeal to more older players.
Yeah.
Now, the interesting thing is that if you look at it's a hedgehog, so the first thing you think of now in the original movie, you can understand the spikes on his head, right? Because it's a hedgehog. But if you look in the movie itself, I sort of thought to myself, wait, he's a hedgehog, which they obviously had those
quills.
Those, what's it called?
A quill.
A quill, right? Which is where the hedgehog part came out of it. Which I was like, sort of like, oh, okay, all right, cool, that makes sense. But for me, I didn't really feel the hedgehogness of the hedgehog.
It more looked like spiky hair.
Yeah. I think that maybe was the whole idea behind the way he looks in that.
And you know what was weird? Although this was funny, but thinking about it now, speaking, if we go strictly with he's a hedgehog, I don't know if you remember, there's one part in the film where he gets wet and he ends up shaking himself and causes his hair to go, it looks like an afro, and it was actually very funny. Like, we laughed because now he's got like this puffy afro. However, if you think about it, when a hedgehog gets wet, it's got quills, it doesn't have like hair, so now it's not going to do that. So if you look at, like, I think for them, they were more going to make people laugh than to even be true to the character itself. Like,
Right.
that was and for me personally, they shouldn't have done that. Like, they should have, they
Kept him cool.
right?
Yeah, kept him cool. Superhero, Sonic the Hedgehog. And another thing that I'd like to note, obviously mention, is that, okay, I suppose it was a kids program, so it sort of, makes null and void what I'm about to say. But there were certain things that didn't make sense.
Yeah.
But there were funny moments though, like that part where they're driving in the car and then he's like, "Oh look, rubber band, whatever contest, whatever." It's like, "Can we make a pit stop?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "No." Then he's back. "Oh, never mind. Okay." And then he's
It wasn't that great anyway.
Yeah, it wasn't that great anyway, which means he already went. So
Yeah.
there were like, really funny moments
yeah.
in that. Yeah.
One scene also to mention was there was a scene in a bar where there's a bar fight starts, and then Sonic, being supersonic speed, decides to go really fast, but it literally, so in other words, what happened was he's running so fast that everyone else is frozen compared to how fast he's going, which basically was stolen in a way from the Quicksilver scenes from X-Men.
The music, everything.
But they did do it very well. It was enjoyable to watch. When you see things like that, you don't see it all the time. And when someone does it successfully, it is like, oh, that's cool. And I know when we were watching, my mom actually even remarked on like the song choice at that point. Like that was quite funny,
Yes.
like the choice of songs. So that was pretty cool. But for me, mainly it was disappointing. I can honestly say that.
Yeah.
I was disappointed. Yeah, I don't know.
So you were expecting, right?
I was expecting, I don't know. First of all, I think the whole expectation I had on Sonic, the character, like, for me, it should have been that this hedgehog was too cool for anybody. And, it's one of those situations where he has to learn to be the hero, as in he has to learn to care for people. Like, for him, if he sees a way out, he'll take it. Exactly.
He's been alone. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
So,
yeah.
like, he meets this human person, and then it's like, if he has to learn, oh, wait, like, what a true friend does, or being the hero is about laying yourself down and not running.
Right.
Like, for me, that's what should have happened with him, and
Yeah.
it shouldn't have been how it was.
Something that also didn't stick for me was that his actual photorealism
Yeah.
in the live action film itself. It didn't stick with me. I
No.
couldn't take him serious. Obviously, now you think, okay, so do they make him look more? Hey, maybe if they made him look more realistic, like, because he had a very cartoon look.
But you see, that's what they did originally. In the original trailer,
Yeah.
he looked more realistic, and people flipped.
Maybe that was, but
It looked like a cartoon had been dropped in someone's house. That's what it looked like.
that's what I'm getting now. I'm like, this guy's figure of, it looks like animation from like back in, the 91.
Yeah.
What was that movie with the cartoon characters and the basketball player?
Oh yes, a Space Jam.
Yes, like
Yeah.
Space Jam type of stuff, which you expect around that time. It was
Yeah,
pretty
that was
cool.
pretty good,
but
yeah.
of course, it's a Looney Tunes, so how
Yeah,
can you,
and you imagine the
Yeah.
backlash. We would backlash if they decided to do something funny with the Looney Tunes.
Yeah, but now it's like, okay, Sonic the Hedgehog. Maybe they should have kept him in his own world. I don't know. I don't know.
The direction they went in from a storyline perspective was completely wrong. Yeah.
Now, if I'd never watched Sonic the Hedgehog, well, if I didn't know him before this, maybe I would have had a different remark. But still, the movie. Okay, but anyway, look, the movie was fun. It was cool to watch. It was.
Yeah, it was like a light-hearted
It was
movie.
like, oh, okay, oh yeah, didn't
and
expect
then that one part where the dude danced, I was like, and
You
then
see,
stop.
you see, and then it's like, okay, so is it worthwhile watch? Well, it's worth watching.
But however, the two people that are speaking right now didn't even feel the need to finish it.
Yeah, just.
So, yeah.
But that's
That's just personal. That's personal
that really
preference.
is just, that is just
Look,
preference.
one thing I want to just add. So we were watching it, and I was actually with someone who doesn't like movies. So she actually isn't a big fan of movies, and she doesn't like watching movies.
Yes.
And she can't finish movies. In fact, she falls asleep in movies. I'm horrified. I'm just like, what is wrong with you? However, she was so into it. She was like glued to the TV, and like she was even like, oh, I didn't get to finish it because we didn't watch the full thing through.
She was horrified.
She was like really upset, which maybe I think it's for people who aren't big movie watchers, maybe like it's so light-hearted and like whatever and predictable. I don't know, for us who want like real storylines and proper, maybe for us it was like, hey, but for like
It
maybe
must grip me by the
yes,
heart.
and there must be something that I didn't expect, and yeah, but for she enjoyed it, so I suppose there is an audience for the film. Like it's just
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll do a test. I'll play it back to my 4-year-old and my 2-year-old, and then
See what
we'll
they
see
do.
what they,
For just a last fact before we end off. So in the film, there's a part where Sonic wakes up and says, "Is The Rock president?" referring to Dwayne Johnson.
I was like, what?
Now, having played Sonic the Hedgehog games in his college days, Dwayne Johnson tweeted his approval of the "Is The Rock the president?" line in one of the spots, which is in a different context from the final film. But he actually, he tweeted his approval of that line.
Okay, well,
So
that was
at least
cool,
at least Dwayne Johnson liked it.
yeah, so you see, there are a lot of the funny moments. The whole movie is like funny moments, so it is enjoyable, yes.
Yeah.
Definitely a family movie.
Definitely a
And
family
definitely
movie.
something you want to watch with people who don't genuinely enjoy movies,
Yeah.
There you go. It's a good movie for getting people who don't like watching
I'm
movies.
still disappointed though. I must say that.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed.
I don't think I had any expectations on the movie. So I really went into this neutral, 100% neutral.
Okay, yeah.
I was just like, okay, here we go. Another
But
movie.
for me,
Let's
even
see.
thinking afterwards, like, what were they thinking? What was wrong with it? Okay, I'm over.
Sashi,
I'm done complaining.
You know what? But let's be honest, we are weird. Like we watched, what was that movie?
A Hidden Life.
Yeah, I mean, we watched movies like that. We
Whoa, hold up.
and that
I
had
actually,
depth and it had
No, that was
character
sure.
and the way it was shot, it was so
Sure.
unique, beautiful, and I was like,
yeah, I suppose.
one day I'm gonna make a movie like this. This is the aim, guys. And now we watch Sonic the Hedgehog,
We're like,
and,
meh.
and it's just like, meh.
But I actually got a message from someone. I'll shout it out to her. Her name is Beulah. And she actually messaged me and said, I watched A Hidden Life after listening to the movie review. And she said she thoroughly enjoyed it. So she obviously has our taste in movies. But she said she really, really, really enjoyed it. She said, look, it is long. And I mean, it is a long film. Like every person that's watched it has said, they were like, okay, you can do this. But it was a very good film. So, yeah.
The true appreciation of film.
Yes. So let us know what you think of Sonic the Hedgehog if you've watched it. You can let us know on all social media platforms. So you can go on Instagram. There's
It's a free
2
country.
pages.
You can post on social networks.
And comment. So you can go first of all on the movie show on Instagram at the movie show, and you can let us know there, or you can go to Active FM on Instagram. Plus, Active FM is also on Twitter and Facebook and TikTok. So you can go on all of those social media platforms and let us know there. Plus, we have an amazing website.
www.activefm.co.za.
Yeah.
I get paid to say that. That's why I'm saying it.
Wow. And we also are on Google.
I'm just joking. I don't get paid to say that.
It's just a cool line to say.
You mentioned YouTube.
Not yet. I'm getting there.
Oh, okay.
Patience,
Sorry.
Ryan. Patience.
Please.
So we are then on Google Podcasts, what am I saying? Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and then we are on
Drum roll,
YouTube.
please. YouTube. That is www. You all know YouTube, man.
Yep, and we are on 2 channels. The first one is Active TV. You can search for the movie show playlist and go and watch. And we are actually, so we've decided to change our content up a little bit. So instead of just doing facts and stuff, we're actually starting to do like masterclasses. So we've got an acting masterclass coming up, and we're actually going to be doing more stuff like that, where we're teaching filmmaking and giving like tips and tricks, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, we don't take from the community. We give back.
That was such a movie line right there. And then the second YouTube channel you can find us is on Active FM, and you can also go just listen to the podcast there.
Of course. Wait,
Yes.
what? Radio has never been better.
Yes, radio has really never been better. Like
Boom.
seriously,
There it
never
is.
been better.
I get paid for that one too. No, I'm just joking. I don't get paid for that.
Wow. So this has been the movie show,
With myself, Ryan.
and Sash,
Uh,
and we will see
and
you.
that
We
is
will
the end. We will see
speak to you next time.
Next week.
Yes.
Don't
Peace
forget
out.
To subscribe, because then you'll get notified. Yes, notify. Simplify. Amplify. I can't rhyme.
Ah, wow.
Cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Active FM.
Hot presenters,
the best topics, the most entertaining presenters, everything you could ever want in radio.
We're lifting Jesus up, we're lifting Jesus up, we're lifting.
radio has never been better.